Hi there, my name's Vince from mymatevince.com, and in this video today we're going to try to fix this item in here. So I'm hoping this is going to be a nice piece of Danish design. So I believe when this was made it cost around about 800 UK pounds, so it wasn't going to be available to really a very large section of the UK population, but the products are supposed to be very high end. Now I bought this from eBay for, I can't quite remember, I think it was around 50 or 60 pounds. In fact, I'll flash up the listing right now. So there you go. So obviously, really in this day and age now, most people just listen to services like Spotify and stuff. But what I want this product for is to see the inside of it and just to see how nice it is, you know, to see how nicely made it is. That's a nice little touch. The listing probably did say it came with the box, but I completely forgot that it did. So it's nice to have the box here, and if we have a look here, it looks like we've got the original product number and stuff here as well. So this is, as you can see, a Beocord 4932 5500, and I believe there was a whole system along with this, so then you could get other stacks to go with it and they would all link up with each other. So yeah, that's a nice little touch, that. Right, let's open this up to see. In case you haven't seen any of my videos before, this is a trying to fix video. I've never owned one of these products before. I've never opened up one of these products. I've never attempted to repair one of these products. So what you do, don't use this video as a how-to video. This is, take it purely for entertainment, to see if somebody who doesn't know what they're doing can actually fix it or not. Wow, that thing is unbelievably heavy. Right, let's get rid of this box. Right, so the power connector here is like an EU one, so I'd have to use a little shaver adapter type plug to convert that to UK. And I believe the voltage in the UK and Denmark is, there you go, it says 240 anyway, so it's fine. 240 volts, 50 to 60 hertz, and this is 25 watts. Now this is going to cause me trouble here because got one of these little DIN connectors, and that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I don't know whether you count the bottom one, so I don't know whether that would be called a 7-pin or an 8-pin DIN connector. But what I can do is maybe I can get the pin out for this, and I might be able to make something up where I can sort of push some females onto it and then wire it up to a 3.5mm jack or something. But anyway, we'll worry about that later on. So this is what it looks like here. Right, so Bang Olufsen Beocord 5500, open and play. So now I don't know, open and play, so how do you do the fast forward and everything else on it? Or does it need a remote control? Maybe something opens up. Do you know what, maybe when I open it up, maybe other things come out. Open, locked, for use, remove the 4 transport screws. Okay, so it looks like I have to, oh, these must be what keeps the tray in, so I have to remove them. And it says down here, disassembly instructions for qualified serviceman only. Uh-oh. It says A, loosen screws, push up and tighten. Push cabinet backwards. Honestly, this thing, it's like it's made out of lead. The weight on it is huge. Loosen screws, push up and tighten. So it's these ones, is it these ones at the back here? Push cabinet backwards. Okay, well we'll worry about that later on. Let's take out these ones here and let's see exactly what's happening with it. Right, annoyingly the camera was off when I took out these transport screws, but basically what you do is you get like a coin or something like that and you twist them until it goes to open. So this one is particularly stiff, but you twist it round until it lines up with open, like that, and then you just gently wiggle it until it comes out, and you can see there it just locks into place. And what this allows is, it allows the tray now to come out, And then there's a little storage bit up here, which is quite nice to keep them nice and safe so you don't lose them. Put them in there, twist them, and they go to locked. Right, so let's see what is and isn't working on this. Now, I'm not going to be able to check the sound just yet. Let's just see if it's ejecting and playing. So that's my little plug converter to UK. Right, so yeah, okay, so that opens. Let's see if it closes again. Yeah. It's a nice movement, isn't it? That seems absolutely fine. Right, let's pop a tape in and see what it does. So, well, everything's lit up here. Let's bring the camera down so you can see. Yeah, look, so it's playing. Obviously I can't hear it, see if it's playing right or not, but it's definitely doing something, isn't it? Right, let's open it up again. I wonder it's stopped there now, isn't it? No, it's back again. Right, so that looks normal. Yeah, I see it playing there. Oh, so it carries on playing even when it's open. Yeah. Right, let's fast forward it. So stop. That stopped. Now let's fast forward. Okay, so it's not fast forwarding. And if you have a look, you can see it's still out. So yeah, that looks like that's wrong. Oops, hold on. Open that again. I presume it can fast forward when it's open. No. Can you hear it slipping? I heard it slipping there and then it stops. Yeah, so I think that this is going to be a belt issue, given the age of it as well. So let's play. Oh look, so it's not. Yeah, so it's definitely playing okay. Maybe it's different belts for different things. On the Walkmans that I did before, it was just one belt that did everything, but maybe this works differently. So playing definitely seems to be the right speed. I'm going to hold down fast forward while it's playing to see if that does anything. Oh look, so that works there now. Let's play. And then let's see if rewind works. Yeah, that works as well. Play. But now let's just stop that. And now let's do fast forward. Oh look, it's freed itself up. Didn't do that a minute ago, did it? Do you know what? I bet you this is all working fine. It was just at the beginning it wasn't doing that. Maybe it just needed a bit of freeing up. You know, maybe the belt was stuck in a certain position. So by playing it and doing that at the same time, it seemed to sort itself out. You can tell that that's going nice and fast. And then play. Yeah, there we go. And stop. Let's do auto reverse, see if it starts going the other way. So at the moment we're playing clockwise, aren't we? So now let's do stop. Let's hit auto reverse. And now let's play. Hold on. Turn. Let's turn. There we go. Yeah, turn. It goes backwards. Yeah, now it's going the other way. Do you know what? I think this is going to be absolutely fine. Obviously, I haven't got any sound coming out of it at the moment, but just looking at that, that seems to be okay. But what I want to do is I want to take it apart, see the inside anyway, and I do want to inspect those belts. Hopefully, I won't break it by doing that, but really, I do want to see the condition of them because to begin with, it was definitely seized up. Let me just feel what these feel like. Yeah, so they feel okay. Right, might as well leave that out and let's get this thing apart. Right, so I've got it unplugged, so it should be now okay to work on. I've got to take care that there's no capacitors, no like big charge capacitors in there. So now let's read these instructions again on the back. It says loosen screws, push up and tighten, then push cabinet backwards. Right, okay, that doesn't really make a huge amount of sense. Let's see what that means. Before I take it apart, I just want to double check the listing here, and if you have a look here, it says condition. And it's just on about the numerous marks. But look, it says functionality. When tested, the motorised drawer worked but felt a little stiff, so may require a little lubrication. Now obviously this is the first product I've got. Maybe it is or isn't stiff, I don't know. To me it seems at this moment in time fine, so maybe by just using it a few times it's freed itself up. But look here, it says here, cassettes play, but the unit won't fast forward or rewind, sadly. These commonly require a new set of belts at this age, so our guess is that this would get it working properly, but sadly it's not worth us paying an engineer to find out. As such, it's sold as seen without any guarantees as to its internal condition. So that's really interesting. So basically it looks like the main fault with this is that it doesn't rewind or fast forward, and now it is rewinding and fast forward. So I think, I mean we'll see when we take it apart, I think maybe just the belts were just stuck in the same place for ages. Maybe even the motors might have had a tiny bit of I don't know, I mean I don't know, but looking at that there, maybe it's different belts for different things, because on a Walkman the one belt does the fast forwarding, the reversing, rewinding and the playing. Maybe on this one different belts do different things, in which case maybe the motor that deals with the fast forward and rewind was sat in the same spot for ages, and it just needed a bit of kind of movement or something to get it to work again, because you can see now that it's working perfectly. So it might have just needed, like, you know, a few goes to get it working properly. But let's take it apart, and then it might become obvious. We might see the belts and they might look a bit gooey, in which case then that might suggest that they need replacing. But I think, I know I haven't checked for sound, but obviously the seller has probably the right adapter at the back to connect for sound, and he said that the tapes play okay, or he or she. So if I was to take a guess right now, I think that this is actually working fine. But still, let's crack it open and see what's happening. Right, so let's undo these screws at the back. I can hear all the switches going off at the front. Right, so it says to loosen. Stiff. Right, loosen and then push up. Loosen screws, push up. Oh, okay. Push up and tighten. Push up and then tighten. Okay. Oh, okay. Push up and tighten. Right, this is clever. Push up and then tighten. There you go. Push up, tighten. Now, yes, there it goes. Right, let's place this down. Okay. Excellent. So that's the lid off. Got some sort of grounding wire or something there. Right, here we have it. Oh wow, look at this. Look at this. Right, let's just do a quick close up for you. Right, so we've got the power supply coming in here. Got another board at the back. This whole front thing is fed from this ribbon cable, which looks to be soldered in place here. We've got the DIN connector, you know, the audio out, go into here. So what does this say? Left, oh there we go, left, right, hold on, playback, left and right, right record, left, I don't know what that means, maybe that's left and right record or something. So maybe all I have to do is put a tone down the blue and green wires, and data link, and you see the ground there, the sort of, yeah, the braid. So the braid would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so it looks like there's 6 connectors there. So maybe all I have to do is put a tone down the blue, the green and the ground, and then, well, I presume the ground is just going to be the outer one, and then I might be able to just, you know, make my own connector up, mightn't I? Because if I just bring wires out from there, and then on a 3.5mm socket I can just plug in some computer speakers or something like that. Fortunately I'm not a man that's really into my audio. I love nice equipment like this, but I've never had good audio equipment, so I haven't got like proper speakers and stuff to plug into it. I don't even know if this is like a sort of standard or not, or whether this is just like a B&O thing, but still I'm hoping I'll be able to wire something up. I'm hoping as well that this doesn't need a separate amplifier. I think when I was buying this, and I did a little bit of reading up about it, I think that this has its own amplifier built in. I don't know whether that would be, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how it works. Would this be some sort of amplifier circuit down here? I'm not too sure. We'll soon find out anyway when we try to attach some speakers to it. Right, so I want to take this apart. So I think, let me just go across here. So it looks like, to begin with, I'm going to have to undo things like this to maybe lift the board out. Basically, I want to get, so look, it looks like there's two motors. One here, you see DC 12 volts, another motor there. So maybe one of these motors is to do with the motorized thing, bringing it in and out, and maybe one motor does do everything on the tape here. Or when we take this out, we might find that there's other motors underneath it. But either way, I need to strip it down to get to the belts at the bottom of this. Let's just have a quick look underneath. No, you can see it's all sealed there. Oh, there you go, there's another motor there, isn't there? So that's one motor, yeah, and that's a different motor to that one. So it definitely looks like there's two motors, so that would suggest why it was playing okay, but the rewind and fast forward wasn't working. Let's start to dismantle it and see how we go. Right, so that's them out. I don't know what these metal bars are for. Let's undo them. Right, is this going to come up now? No, that's still not going to come up. Right, so we have to undo this ribbon cable here, but it's soldered here. Actually, first things first, I do see a massive capacitor in the back. I just want to make sure that I'm not going to get a shock off it. So let's just turn it upside down. Here we go. This big massive one in here. Right, I can see it says positive this side, so let's just see if we've got anything in here. There and there. No, there's nothing registering on my meter there. Okay, so hopefully it will be okay to work on, but still, I won't put my hands anywhere near that if I can help it. Right, so we've got two, these look like connectors here. Let's see if they pull out or not. Yep, they're going to pull out. But we've got this like barrier thing here. We've got a kind of like a metal clip. See if I can unclip that. Yes, I can. Yeah, there we go. Right, so that's easy enough to put back on again. I'll just bend that back round. Right, these lift out. Right, that lifts out from there, so now that's going to be free, but we're still tied in with this cable at the back, and I don't want to unsolder it from there. Let's see how that's going to come undone. Right, well, there's a little screw terminal here, so maybe I should undo that, because I need to loosen that wire, because I want to get the front out from the back, don't I? Oh yeah, there you go, look, and they've actually stripped it back on purpose, and that must be to get the shielding, I would say. To get the shielding against this metal thing here, maybe. I'm just going to pop these screws back on so I know where they go back together. Also just found a bit of foil kind of thrown in the corner there. I wonder, should that have been round here or not? Seems a bit odd just to have it resting in the corner not doing anything. This is not on the other side. It was just down in this this corner here. Just there. And that looks more likely to go around here, doesn't it? Anyway, we'll worry about that later. Right, so how's this going to come out? So it's still locked into place. I can see a screw here on the rails, but that back rail isn't going to loosen up the front rail. It's going to be attached to the front as well. Let's have a look under here, see if there's any screws in here. No. There's no screws I can get to there. Right, I can see a couple of clips in here. Right, okay, that's going to loosen it there. And there is also a little clip here, and also one this side as well. So let's try to lift them up. No, that's not wanting to go. Let's try this side. Yeah, that's going to go. That's going to go. Yep. Excellent. Right. Okay, so there's a ribbon cable here connecting up this board up here. Right, that looks, do you know what that looks really similar to? An IDC socket on a telephone or network point. So basically I think what's happened is that these wires have been put in unstripped, and then when you push them in it's like a metal V, and the grey wire goes into it and it pierces through the insulation to touch the core, the the copper core on the inside, or aluminium core, whatever this is made out of. So I don't want to get involved in that, because if I pull that out I'm not going to have the proper tool to punch that back in. So I'm hoping that the other side of this will come out, because that's going to get in my way. Right, okay, so look, we've got access now. Oh, look at this tape deck here. Look at this. That looks really nice, doesn't it? Compared to the, oh, look at that. Compared to the Walkman, this just looks like it's oozing quality. Now, if you're into this sort of stuff, this might not necessarily be very good quality, but from what I'm used to, it looks amazing. Which you would expect, because it's going to be probably 5, 6 or 10 times the price off a Walkman back in 1988 or whenever this model was from. Right, okay, so now can we get this board out? What's keeping it in place? Right, we've got a couple of screw terminals at the front here, so we can undo them. That will probably drop the front out. Looks like it's going to free up the board. There we go. So do I have to undo all these cable clips here to get to it, I wonder? So we've got it connected here again, another screw bend thing here. It's a shame that I have to undo everything to get to the belts. Let's see if this pulls out. So let's free that up. This is still going to be in the way here, unless I can just lift it up. Here we go, I can. Lift it up out of harm's way, because we're not interested with that really, are we? Okay, that's that. So there's another board down here now, look at this. Right, but where are... oh, here we go. Oh, look at that. So this is the thing that deals with the moving in and out. So there's a belt, yeah, I can see the belt on there. There's a belt there. Right, okay. Now what I did is I did actually buy a replacement belt for that, but I just got a cheap one. I just bought one for £2.50, because the proper ones are going to be expensive. But I got that one because when I read about the drawer being stiff, I thought I'd get a spare one. But I don't know whether I should fit that or not, because that might not be as good as the original one. If they might not be, as the exact same size. Right, so that's that one anyway, but really I want to get underneath here, don't I, so I can see what's going on with this. So let's undo the screws around the tape deck. At the back by the motor. I can get to it, yes. So that should now give me access to the belt. So let's undo this connector here. Really dusty. Oh, really very dirty as well. There we go, so that undoes. Again, you can't put it the wrong way around, because you can see it's got two little legs. It won't really, you'd have to bend the pins to get that on wrong. So that goes in there. Let's try to undo these two as well. So, There we go. And this big one. Again, you can see two legs here. There we are. Right, I have now... Oh look, I can undo that from there. That's it. Look, we can work on this. Hold on. There we go. We can work on this on its own now. So, let's not worry about this at the moment. I would like to see how this belt thing's working, because I can't actually work out where that's going to. I wonder, do I have to take it out completely? Maybe I have to get to the underneath of that. It would be quite nice. It would be quite nice to work out how this is working. Do you know what I mean? So we've got the whole tray here. So if I undo these screws here and the back screws, the whole tray should then lift out. Really, it would be better if I could just remove this circuit board and then I could work. I wonder how this bottom bit comes out. I'm worried about these ribbon cables, you see. Not sure how this front bit's going to come out. Right, these little white clips here look like they open out to allow you to push this out. I wonder if that's the case or not. Yes, it is. Look. There you go. That's that one. There we go. Right, so that's free. Has that freed up this or not? No, see, we've still got a problem because of the there we go. Because of the ribbon cable here, but also I wonder if I can take that out. Right, I am going to undo this one here, and then you see we can get that free, so I can work on it without worrying about damaging the circuit boards. Right, okay, so that's free. So I'm just going to keep that over here on that polystyrene thing out of harm's way. So now you see I've got more access to this thing here. Still can't see how you change the belt. So let's undo. This is the motor here. So basically it just must be a motor going around here, and there must be sort of some kind of cog or something down here which it runs against. So let's undo this one. I might not have to remove this board, which would be nice. Oh, I can see teeth just in here. I won't be able to show you because there's only a tiny gap. Let me just zoom in, you might be able to see something. Right, just if you have a look on here, in here, can you see the teeth? I don't think you're going to be able to see them. Let's undo this bolt here and see what that reveals. Oh, there we go, look, you just push it to one side, you push the whole thing over. And now, yeah, there we have it. Right, so we've got this thing here, and it wraps around this here, and we've got a nice, oh, look at that. Very dirty. So maybe this was just, maybe that was just slipping. Let's measure that, and you can see now, look, nice and easy. We've got teeth there, or pinion maybe, and can you see here we've got a, it just pushes it along here. So this bottom one is fixed against the base of the unit, and by spinning this, because this is attached to here, it moves this up and down, you see. Okay, I need to give everything a bit of a good clean as well. Right, let's compare this. Maybe I will swap it over. Let's compare this to this one. So you can see the old one is slightly bigger, because the new one fits inside it. But look, the diameter looks spot on. So, I don't care that it's only £2, whatever it was, £2.50 or £2.50. Like rubber's rubber, so maybe it's going to be just as good, if not better, than one that's like, you know, 20-something years old. Or hold on, let's say if this was 88, let's call it 89, 9909, so you're looking at 30 years, aren't you? Yeah, I'm going to go for the new one, why not? I can always keep the old one anyway. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a wet wipe, I'm going to clean in here to get rid of that kind of rubbery powder. Right, and you can also see around here as well where the, I suppose the dirt or something from the, I don't know, has it given off some sort of fumes or something throughout the years, you know, as it's been breaking down? Look at that there, you can see a definite ring, or is it just the dust? Let's see if this is dirty when I do this. I can definitely feel it's rough just here. Maybe that's to help it grip. Anyway, you can see the dirt that's come off it there. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, I suppose the rubber's just broken down a little bit throughout the years. Now, I haven't got any belts for the tape deck. I mean, when I had a quick look there, when I was just taking it off, they looked to be massive. I was expecting them to be more like a Walkman one, but they're not. Yeah, look at that, that's mostly out now. I think that's going to be okay. Give this a clean up here. I'm going to go around the little motor as well. Appears to be any more stuff coming off that now, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get the feather dust. I'm just going to clean around here. I'm keeping this away from the circuit board just in case there is any static. Let's just give this a bit of a clean to get rid of the main bit of dust, and then I'll use the wet wipe on it. That'll do. Cleaner now than it was before. Let's get this new belt on. Right, you know what, I should put a bit of grease on that as well, shouldn't I, on that spindle in there, because that wouldn't have been greased since it was new. Right, so I'm just going to put some of this grease on it here, this synthetic Dow Corning Mollicot. Right, so that's around there like so. So now I need to take this out, take the belt out, and I need to wrap that around this one. Like that, and now I need to try to get this into its home. Okay, so that's there like that. So I wonder, do I have to, yeah, I'm going to have to, oh, that's starting to come out. Right, I'm going to have to place that in here, aren't I, in the hole here before. I'm going to have to screw that up now before it's in place, because otherwise it will fling out. It would have been easier if I just unplugged it from here to begin with. You can see that, look, this unplugs from here, and now it's nice and easy to work on. That feels alright to me. Just going to loosen it a tiny bit, see if it becomes freer. No, not really. There we go. Excellent. Right, well hopefully that will make it a little bit easier coming in and out. Not that there was a problem anyway, but I had the belt, so I might as well use it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spray some silicone lubricant into where the little wheels move this in and out. So this is just similar to, you know, like a drawer you get in your kitchen. So your cutlery drawer, for example, that you slide out. So there's a little wheel here and another little wheel, I think it's in here. So I suppose where you can see the little rivets here and here, there'll be a little wheel. So let's see if I can spray some in here. Right, I didn't want to do quite so much there. That's more like it. Right, let's try to do it in here. There we go. Right, I'm going to move that forward and back, and that will really free it up. Right, the reason it's making a funny noise is because I need to do up that little screw. There we go. Nice. And I'm just wiping away the excess. Happy with that bit there, so I can move this aside now and we can worry about working on just a tape deck. Right, so we've got one motor that directly feeds the, let's have a think now. So this is going to be for the play. So this motor is directly feeding the play and, you know, the turn, the auto reverse, doing the other way as well. And it looks like this massive one here must be purely for the fast forward and rewind. So that's going to be, are these called capstan rollers? Are they moving? Let's feel. Yeah, they are. You can't see them because they're smooth. But when I turn this here, what's happening is that capstan roller is turning here. So basically it's wanting to bring my thumb inwards there. Let's see what's happening here. Yeah, they're both going inwards, and if I go the other way, it goes the other way. So now it's bringing it outwards. Fine, so they must be what deals with, would that be the playing? I don't know whether this motor is for the playing. I don't know whether these are to make it play and fast forward and reverse, or whether this motor here is for the fast forward and reverse. I really don't know. I suppose would we be able to tell that normally? Yeah, I suppose with the lid off we would be able to tell that, wouldn't we? So let's give this thing a clean, and maybe I can clean the tape head with just a tiny bit of IPA on a little cotton bud. But I'm not gonna. I haven't got this belt to change. Let's see how easy it would be to change over. Oh, okay. So it wraps around here and wraps around this one here. So it goes round there, all the way round there, and up to there. Well, there definitely still seems to be elasticity in that. But obviously, if I had one, I would change it over. But I haven't got one that size there. I definitely haven't got one that size. But if you wanted to buy one, I suppose you would just unhook it from here, like that, and then take it off, and you'd have to measure it against the ones that people are selling on eBay and stuff. And I suppose you'd have to undo this screw here and undo this screw here, and it looks like that section would lift off. So that all looks, yeah, it would, wouldn't it? That section just lifts clean off there. So that would actually be quite easy to change. I'm just going to have a look. Just to see how easy it is to do, because I might need to do this if it doesn't work properly. Yeah, there we go. That's very easy. Look at the dirt again. Look at that. Yes, that goes round there, around here, and up round here. So that wouldn't be hard to change at all. Look, like that. Yeah. There. Do you know what? I'm going to give this a clean now I've got it off. It's a shame I haven't got a belt now that I've taken it all apart. Not too bad. Just going to clean these as well. There we go. Yeah, that'd be really easy to do. Glad I took that apart now, so if I have to do this in the future, it's not such a big deal. Right, so what I'm going to do right now is... Oh, well, look, there's another motor here as well. There's another motor here, so maybe this is the one to do with the fast forward and rewind. I really don't know. But look, there's another one here with a worm wheel on it. But you can see that's quite gunked up in there, isn't it? Right, I think I'm going to add fresh grease all in here to the moving parts. Making sure I keep it away from the rubber belt. Right, so I put quite a lot on that worm wheel, so when that starts spinning now, that will distribute it to the next gear, which will hopefully then go on to the next gear. Clean all the capstan rollers and everything like that. It's going to take a while. Capstan rollers are quite dirty. So look, I haven't done this one yet, so let's go on to a clean piece here. Put it in here. And I'm just going to keep turning it. Yeah, look. So I suppose if these were dirty, it could slip, couldn't it? Giving that a bit of a clean up, and I've greased just a few little. I haven't put much grease in there because I don't want the grease flicking up and hitting like the tape heads. In fact, I can see very little grease in there anyway, but I've just put a little bit in here and there just where I think it may help. But remember, I don't know where I should or shouldn't be greasing. I'm just going to add a tiny bit of IPA to that tape head. Right, so I've just got a dribble on here. Right, I'm going to leave it at that because it does look very clean. I don't want to damage anything. Right, so now we have the fun job of getting it all back together and also trying to work out how we can get sound to how we can wire up some sort of speaker to it or something. that's it, nearly done, and it all went back together nice. Let's just pop that in there, pop that in there, and that is it. I just need to put the cover on and then clean up the cover. And before I do that, I'm going to get a little bit of pen and paper, and I'm just going to tone out. So I'm just going to basically do a continuity test between, remember I said about earlier, the blue left one and the green right, and also the grounds, just to see where it's coming up on here. Got my meter and continuity. I've just scribbled out the DIN here, and you can see there's a flat bit on the ends and also on the bottom, and also these two bits here. These two pins seem to be bigger than the others. So first of all, let's just go on to the shielding, and let's see where the shielding's coming up. Right, so the shielding's not coming up on there. Oh, interesting. Right, the shielding's coming up on the very top pin. So it looks like the top pin is going to be ground. That's if the shielding is ground, I presume it's going to be. In fact, I wonder, we could go across here, couldn't we? And let's see if that's going to be on that one. Yeah, do you remember, because I put the foil on here? So yeah, that's definitely going to be ground there. I just want to see, is that outer one actually on anything? Does it... No, it doesn't seem to be on the negative or anything. Right, okay, now let's go on to the left. So that's the blue wire there. Right, perfect, that's just coming up on one pin, which is this one here. So this one is left, so I'm just going to put blue. It's coming up here. And now let's go on to the right. Perfect, which is next to the left, which makes sense, doesn't it? Right, so now all I have to do is find a 3.5mm jack, and then I'll just get the pin out for that online, and then you see I can put the ground to where the ground is on a 3.5mm jack, and then left to the left one, and then right to the right one. Might as well get rid of the blue, it means nothing. And I'm hoping that that will give me some sound. That is, of course, if this has its own built-in amplifier, which I presume on this one, I'm sure I read that this one does, because obviously on some of them you would need to plug them into another stack, like an amplifier stack. Right, I'm going to put the lid on this, I think, because I've pinned those ones out now. I'm happy with how the rest of it looks. So, yeah, I'm going to put it all back together. It's certainly cleaner than it was before. Right, so that looks perfect there. And that looks perfect, nice and straight there. And the tray looks nice and flat. Right, let's see if it comes in and out now. That's better. Yep. Let's plug it in. Lovely. Play, stop, fast forward, stop, rewind. Lovely. And let's do turn. Yeah, there we go. Right, let's wire up a speaker to this, see if we can get some sound out of it. Right, bad news, I just looked down and there's nothing on the display, so you can see it's playing here, but look, there's nothing happening. The display is completely blank. So obviously I've done something to that ribbon cable feeding this. One of these things where I should have just left it be, it was working fine, but saying that, if you take that attitude with everything, then you'd be scared to take anything apart. Yeah, so I might not be able to fix the display, but at least I had fun looking at the inside of it. I'm hoping that it's not going to be anything too major. I'm hoping it's just maybe the seating off that ribbon cable or something, or maybe it was those ICD connectors that I was talking about. But anyway, this thing has to come apart again, which is a bit of a shame. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm not going to keep filming it because I've been filming for quite a long time again. I'll just, when I've got it apart, I'll start the camera again. I've got it apart here, and I just thought before I mess around with the display, let's check out the tape thing, see if we can work out what is actually play and fast forward and stuff. So if I press play, it goes there. So it looks like it is that thing that's doing the playing. Now, you know, the capstan thing. Remember, I wasn't sure what motor did what, but check this out. How amazing is this? This is the thing that turns it. So watch this now. I'm going to press stop. Okay, now watch. I'm going to press turn. And now I'm going to press play. And watch this spin round 180. How nice is that? Look, stop, turn, play. Oh, that is a nice mechanism. Let's fast forward. Rewind. The problem I've got right now, let's unplug it again, is that this display's not working. Now, in my mind I was thinking that this was the ribbon cable for the display, but it's not, is it? This is the ribbon cable for this top part. So the ribbon cable for the display, I haven't actually done anything with it, which is slightly worrying, because there's this one here. So I'm going to have a close look now and see if I'm going to get my eye loop out. I'm going to see if any of these wires have come out, because this is it down here, you see, and it goes in. It goes into here, but as far as I can see, that is fully pushed in. It doesn't look loose at all. So this is slightly worrying. I can't see anything wrong. I've just unplugged this from here. The wires are definitely all the way in as far as I can see. Well, I think I'm going to take it apart and see if I can see anything on the actual, see if the other side of this is connected. So let's unplug it again. Oh, okay, that's done really nice actually. Look, you just slide the whole thing over and then that should come out. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? Right now, so are these just LED bulbs under here? Can't actually see because it's got this kind of frosted plastic on it. See if I can take off this one here. There we go. Yeah, look, just a series of lights. Right, so it'd be unlikely that it's anything on there. It must be something to do with the ribbon cable. Unless, of course, I've done mucked up something on the board itself. But saying that, it's just a connector there. And I think I've plugged everything else back into it. So these are the switches here. So again, if these were faulty, they'd be easy to clean. Let's have a look under the last one. Yeah, so just a series of different colour lights. This really is really nicely made. It's been, you can tell it's been made to be repaired. It's lovely. Well, I'm going to do a continuity test between the pins in here and these little solder ones here. Right, there's definitely continuity there. I don't know what else to. Don't really know what else to look at. I don't know what to do. Well, I'm going to keep looking at this. There's no point in keep on filming because this is going to go on for hours, I can tell. As soon as I know what the problem is, I'll get back to filming again. Right, bad news. Very bad news. I can't get it to work at all. It's definitely nothing to do with the ribbon cable. I'm almost certain of that. I've disconnected everything now, all the ribbon cables. I've put them back together. You can see the board here is loose, so I took this bottom board off. And the buttons work absolutely fine, so if I press that one, it stops playing. Press that one, it will start playing again. And then I can still eject it and put it back in again. That's all fine. Do you know what I think the problem is? I'm only guessing, but I think it's because I don't wear an ESD strap, and I'm wondering whether I put in a static charge into this chip here, because earlier on I had to bend this down so my thumbs would have been on the back, and there's a good chance that I would have touched that chip there, because I haven't actually done anything with this front plate. This front plate, all I did was bend it forward in order to you know, take the board out. I wasn't working on that. If there was something wrong with this, I would say yes, because my hands were all over that. I think I've just been incredibly unlucky, and because this is older electronics, maybe it's more sensitive to ESD than new electronics. I haven't had a problem, and kind of when you read up about it, loads of people say, you know, you don't need to worry about it nowadays. I've been working all my life without an ESD strap, blah blah blah. I'm wondering whether this chip here has gone, because I put my scope just onto the pins here, and it's definitely getting some kind of reading, but I don't know what that is, but every one of them seems to be doing something. I think because this is all definitely connected, and remember, it'd be different if I purchased this and it was broken. It was working fine. This is one of those instances where I shouldn't have taken it apart to begin with. It's just that, you see, you know, you need the confidence to be able to take things apart, otherwise you're scared. If this was your first time doing it now, you'd probably never do anything again. But I just think that I have been, well, unlucky or foolish. I don't know. If it is an ESD problem, yes, I should be wearing a strap. The thing I'm not sure about is, what do I plug the strap into? Do I have to drag it across and get one of those earth things that you have to plug into, you know, my power supply, a power point, and then with an earth, and do I have to connect it to that? I really don't know. I mean, what do I earth it to, or do I earth it to the chassis here? But in doing that, if I'm working on this when it's not connected to the chassis, this still isn't going to be earthed, is it? Do you know what? I don't know anything about ESD. So, yeah. But anyway, let's zoom in and get the reading off this chip, and maybe we can find out what the inputs and the outputs are, and maybe I can put a scope on that or something. So let's just stop this for the moment. Actually, I want to show you, because when I touch this chip, the lights do light up. But first of all, let's get a reading on here. Alright, so that's it there, M5450B7 28640. I don't know what that says in the middle. SGS maybe? SCS? I don't know. So that's that. But anyway, watch this. I mean, I know I shouldn't be doing this, but remember, it's broken now anyway. So if I press play, and if I do this, watch, if I touch different ones here, you will see that it will start to light up. There you go. You can see it's lighting up now, or maybe you can't see. There you go. See, it's gone down to 1. Yeah, so depending on which ones depends on where I rub my hands, basically, they're just lighting up all over the place. Really can't see that. There you go. Yeah. And basically that will stay on there like that until I turn it off and on again. And when I will turn it on and off, when I mean unplug it, plug it back in, and you see it's completely dead again. So I don't think, unfortunately, there's any way of coming back from here. Unless, of course, if it was that chip that was faulty, unless I could buy that chip and solder it in. But it is just pure guesswork, really, isn't it? So yeah, really disappointed. So I'm going to Google that chip, see what it is. But I think on this one, I think it's ruined. And yes, I can still use it to play fast forward rewinds. It's just that for me now, because it's like older electronics, to me the LEDs were a major part of it. You've seen earlier on how it was moving up and down. It's just nice. Honestly, I don't think I'd ever use it if the lights weren't on, if the lights weren't working, even though the sound, I mean, maybe I'm being silly because the sound is supposed to be amazing coming from here. Obviously not with a tape like this if you had good tapes, and obviously good speakers as well. But now that I know this is faulty, I think it would just annoy me every single time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect it. I'm going to bring this over to the computer. I'm going to type in this number here just in case people are selling this board. I don't think they are, but I can check. And I'm going to type this chip in, see what it is. You never know, maybe it's just an off-the-shelf part that you can plug in. But again, I think it's probably unlikely. Maybe it needs to be programmed or something for this particular unit. I don't know. But yeah, I'm disappointed. And there's no point in just writing a load of things in the comments. I know I should have been wearing a strap. The thing is though, will I wear one again in the future? Maybe on older electronics I will. I think it would just annoy me. I think it would just get in my way when I'm working on things like the PlayStation and Nintendo Switch and stuff. But I've never had a problem with those things. So, and again, remember, I'm only guessing that that's the problem now, but I'm thinking, well, what else could it be? Unless, of course, I fried something on this board. This board here. This board, I didn't really touch. I mean, there's definitely major chips under here because there's a big heatsink on here, and I can see a load of solder underneath, and it says IC on it. So this is probably the brains down here. But again, I wasn't putting my fingers on the bottom. It would have only been the top here. So I don't know. Unless it is something on here which is feeding through here. Basically, I don't know. I really haven't got a clue what it could be. But my hands have been all over this top board, but not very little on here, and very, very little on here apart from bending it forward. So, not sure. This is one of those things where if you had another one, again, it would be useful because then you could swap the front part and you could start to narrow down the fault. But right now, I haven't got a clue how to fault find this from this moment forward. Right, so I'm going to get back to this in a bit. Well, I'm just taking a break from that display at the moment because it's getting me down. So I'm just working on the sound. So basically 3.5mm jack. The tip is left, the middle section is right, and the bottom section is ground. So if you were to have a look at this one here, this would be left, this middle section here would be right, and this bottom one is ground. And you remember with the DIN connector it was left, right and ground. So when you're looking at it here, you can see that they're all next to each other. So basically that's the bottom there. So this one here is left, right, and then the top one is the ground. So all I've done is, I've got loads of these leads lying around the place, so I've just used one of these. This is a 3.5mm female to 3.5mm male, and another 3.5mm male, hence the twos going in. So what I've done is I've just chopped off the red one here, and then to work out which wires were left and right and ground, well the ground is obvious because it's this one here, but all I did was get the multimeter, put it to continuity, and then get my leads here. And if you have a listen, let's say if I was to go to this tip here, which is the left one, and then if I was to go on the wires here, you just need to tap them until it makes a sound. So obviously it's not going to be the ground, and if you have a look, it's not on the white, but it is on the red. There you go. So I now know that the red wire is the left, and if I put it onto the middle one, that's going to come up on the white. So I know the white wire is the right hand side, and then I know that that there is the ground. Okay, so all I've had to do is join up these ones to here. Obviously this is not a good connection, this is just a makeshift one, but white to white, red to red, and green. Green's going to be my ground, and then my red is going to be my I've got mixed up now, hold on. What was my red? 1 second now. Right, so the red wire is the red wire is going to be the left hand side, so red to left. So now if we get the DIN connector here, all I have to do is put red to left, which is this one here, and then I have to do white to that one there. These are just little kind of like female ones from a another socket, you know, like a VGA socket that I just ripped out of it. They're not the right size, they're too small, but they just fit just for testing. I've got to make sure they don't short against each other. And then this one is the ground, which will be up top here. Okay, so you can see them all in here now, yeah? And now if I plug in this little speaker, I've got a speaker down here, into this jack here. It's one of these Bluetooth ones, but obviously it's got a aux in as well. And now look, if I press play, You'll see this will start working
Bang!
here.
Of course, it's an absolute natural. He's so eager. If we can channel all his energy. But how do you know? Gut feeling.
Okay, so that's the archers.
That's not enough.
Now let's just see if it's working the other way.
You can see a field of magnificent-looking animals. But the
All the lights have come on because it's just earthed against the bottom there. It just grounded itself.
1 in 50, maybe.
Stop, turn, play.
Or that Gavin Freeman, who did not hold fiefs and had the right to their own court.
So sound is definitely okay, which makes it even more annoying that the display is not working. So yeah, now I've got to keep working on the display and see if I can work out exactly why it's not lighting up. Right, I printed off the data sheet for it, and as you can see there, it's M5450, and basically there's only actually 2 inputs. Everything else is outputs, apart from the brightness control and voltage in. So we've got the ground here, which is pin 1, VSS, and that's this one here is also ground, pin 23, and they're both coming up as grounds on here. And then we've got basically VDD, and that's the voltage in, and it can go all the way up to, I think it was 13 volts. And if you have a look here, if I put my meter to the volts DC, I'm just going to plug it in, and if I put the negative to the VSS, which is pin number 1, and then if I put my positive to pin 20, which is the VDD, can you see there is coming up as 4.9 volts. So there's definitely voltage going into the chip. Now when I'm just going to unplug it again, when I rub my fingers across it, the lights are lighting up. So that says to me that from the chip to the LEDs is okay. It's just like the signal's not getting into the chip. The voltage is getting into the chip. But if the signal's not getting into the chip, then that's not going to work. And if you have a look here, there is only 2 inputs, data in and clock in, which is pins 21 and 22. So what I've done is I've been tracing the pins from pins 21 to 22 in case there's no actual data getting into it. And it looks like we've got data in, but the clock in I don't think is going to where it should be. So basically, if we go to data in, I'm just on continuity now, and it's unplugged. That's this pin here, 22, and that goes across to these jumpers here. These jumpers then go through the board here, and they work their way up and they go all the way over to these jumpers here. I haven't traced them after that, but if you have a look on this one here, I've got continuity. But on clock-in is pin 21, which is here, which goes to that jumper, and that jumper goes to this one here. Let me just double check that. Yeah, but this jumper is not coming up on this one here. And if you look really closely, I've got a scrape in the board here, and I don't remember doing that, but I must have done. So let me zoom in to show you. Now, I don't know whether I did that like recently, because I've been doing a lot of messing around with it, so this might be another problem on top of the reason why it's not working, because I'm trying to work out how I would have scraped the board here when I had the front cover on it. I can't see how I would have done that, but still, let me zoom in to show you. Right, so this is the line here. So this bottom one is actually, the bottom one's testing okay, because that goes up to there. Let me just double check that. Yeah, but I don't think I'm getting a path through this top one here. Yep, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a fiberglass pen, and that would suggest why it's not working, but I don't think this is going to fix it, because I just really can't see how I managed to do a big scrape on there. I really can't see how I did that, but still, let's scrape it back and let's see what we have. So I'm just going to make sure everything's unplugged, and I'm just going to scrape it with this to begin with. Actually, I'm going to get a blade to scrape that. I should really be using a fiberglass brush. It's just that those fibers really irritate my hands. So I'm going to try and just use this gently. Right, so I'm back to copper there. So now if I go to copper here, let's see if there's a path through it or not. Right, so I'm still on continuity. Fantastic, excellent. There's nothing there. Right, I'm going to scrape. I'm going to scrape right the way across that, and I'll have to jumper that up. Do you know what? I might as well scrape the bottom one as well. Just add some solder to it. Right, to begin with, I'm just going to see if I can put solder on that to join the jump with the solder. If not, I'll have to use a little bit of wire. Now, I've never really been successful when I use solder on it, but let's give it another go. No, I'm never successful with that, but at least you can see now that there's a bit of solder on the bottom one, so hopefully I've filled in that little scrape. Right, let's get a little jumper wire for this top one. So I've cleaned it with a bit of IPA, and I'm just going to, I've got some enamelled wire here, so I'm just going to tin this enamelled wire. Right, and let's try to get it in place. Alright, so that looks like it's joining, so now I'm going to go from one end right the way to the other. Right, so that was always okay, but now that one's joining. Excellent. Okay, so I'll have to put a little bit of UV mask on that, but begin with, I just want to now see if we've got anything on the display. The weird thing is I've kind of got my hopes up, but I'm thinking, how could I have done this? I must have done this recently, you know, before, after the, after I broke it. Oh yes, it's there. Brilliant. Wow, okay, I don't know how I managed to do that, but look, there's a light there now. Alright, let's press play. Yes, these have all lit up. Oh, brilliant, that's it. Oh, you don't know how relieved I am. Yes, look at it moving. Let's turn the radio on. The speaker on, I mean.
Oh, well. We'll have to see. I think you're amazing.
Oh, brilliant.
I've never come across such patience for a start.
There we go.
But I learn something new every time I come here. I can't.
Oh no, that has to get a yes! I'm really, really happy with that.
What an
How on earth did I manage to scratch that up so bad? I don't know how I did that. Oh God, honestly, I'm so relieved. I was about to, you can actually buy these chips for around £5. They're not expensive, but they're discontinued in most places, but there was an eBay seller selling them. But I was sort of thinking, you know, I did watch back the video and I did have the feather duster on it, but I didn't have the feather duster anywhere near the circuit boards, and I was thinking, like, as far as the ESD is concerned, I didn't do anything different than I did before. I wasn't exactly getting a balloon and rubbing it on my head to create static electricity, you know. I'm so relieved, so relieved. Right, okay, let's get a bit of UV mask on this, get the UV light on it to make it harden up, and then close this up, and hopefully now it will be working properly. Right, so I've just put a bit of UV mask on that. I'm going to get the UV light on it and let it set. That's probably going to take a good 10-15 minutes or so. So yeah, we're nearly done. We just have to close it up. I have found this around my dad's house. This is like a cleaning and demagnetizing cassette. I don't think it's been used. Obviously, it's very, very old. But I might as well pop that in here, and you never know, it might help it along a little bit. Right, so that's starting to skin over now, so I'm going to give that another few minutes and that should be done. And then I'm just going to put it all back together. So next time you see this, it will be back together, and then we'll play this tape on it. It says here, it says to run this side up only, use every 8 hours of playing time, and then it says fully rewind tape and place player into play mode until tape stops. And then it says do not rewind until next cleaning session, remove from unit, and you run it this side up. So I'm going to put it in there and then rewind it fully and then play it all the way through. And then I suppose it's kind of pointless because I've already done the IPA thing on the tape head, but maybe it will help with the demagnetizing. Can't tell you how relieved I am to have that display working again. So here it is. Look, if I was to press Dolby, you can see it changing here. So it looks to be doing all its thing. I can change between track and the level there when I use this. And let's press play.
Hey look, can you hold the other end of this rope?
Let's close it.
We'll get it untangled before Jethro gets
You
back.
can see it there.
He's become a fanatic for neatly coiled ropes.
And now if I press play, it will stop. Play again, it will start up.
Possible.
Why are you so bothered about what Jethro thinks?
Well, because wouldn't you...
Stop. turn, play, and now it will play the other side.
Town dwellers, food, come.
Stop, rewind, stop, fast forward, and can you see this is now going that way rather than the other way? So all I need to do now is go back to my dad's house and get some nice chrome tapes, or I might even buy some chrome tapes. I don't think I own that many. I think it was the older tapes that I had. So yeah, just doing a little bit of reading up, and this is apparently supposed to have amazing sound. Obviously you're not going to get it through the tape and that speaker there, but if you had better speakers and stuff. So yeah, I am now going to use this tape here and let's run it on it, and then what I have to do is just give it a clean, and luckily I will be all finished then. So I need to put this in here, that side up, and I need to rewind it. And then I'm going to play it all the way through. You know what, I don't think there's much there, is there? No, that's not going to take long. So now press play. And I'm just going to let that run all the way through. And while that's going through, I might as well close it. And I'm going to start cleaning it up with a wet wipe, make it look nice, try to get rid of some of these stains with a little bit of IPA and stuff. These are just stains from where other things were stacked on top of it, and the rubber feet have just scratched it. Right, I made the mistake there of having auto reverse on, and then when it got to the end it went back the other way, so then I just tapped it, and now if I was to rewind it a little bit and then press play, it would just go to the end and stop. There you go, so that's definitely working right. Let's give this thing a nice clean up now. Is all finished, and you have to admit it does look nice, and it's come up good. It's come up nice and clean. There's still a few scratches and scrapes on it, but overall it looks to be in good condition, and more importantly it appears to be working fine, and the display and everything is working fine. So if I press play there now, you can see it all lights up here.
Included a small harbour. Jonathan Wright.
And then we can stop it, and if you want to do more functions, then you open it up.
That the Lord of Caesarea simply took over the...
Turn, play.
You're going to lecture me, I can tell.
What for instance?
There you go, stop, fast forward. So it all appears to be working just fine. So happy with that. I was worried, very worried at one stage. I thought I wasn't going to fix it, and there's nothing worse than having something working and then break it. It's different if you've bought something faulty and then you don't fix it because it wasn't working anyway. But in this instance, yes, when I got it, it wasn't working, but just by fast forward and rewinding a few times, it then kicked in. So really I didn't need to do anything to this at all. But saying that, I did change the belt, and the previous seller did say that it was hesitant or sticky when it was coming out. Again, not when I had it, but by changing the belt, that's definitely going to have solved that issue. And also I cleaned up the other belt as well, so maybe it's going to grip a bit better than it did before. Added a little bit of grease in a few places and just gave it an overall clean everywhere, you know, the little capstan rollers and stuff. So I think that's all going to help. I think this sort of setup here, this here, I think would probably be one of the better pieces of equipment for playing cassette tapes. So I'm really happy with it, and for me I think £50 for an item like this is well worth it. Just the enjoyment, it was a bit stressful for me because obviously I broke something, but the enjoyment of seeing the inside of it and to see how nicely it is made, it really is a work of art. If you look at how everything was put together, even the display at the front, everything looked nice on it. There wasn't one thing that I thought looked horrible. It looked like thought had gone into every single bit. So I suppose in this instance you do get what you paid for. Now I'm sure you could probably get equivalent equipment for probably half the price of it when this was new, because obviously a lot of this is you're paying for the design. But you know, when you're getting it for £50, I think it's worth every penny of that. So I'm really happy with it. And I would be tempted to get some more Bang & Olufsen products, because especially the older ones anyway, they look amazing. So yeah, that is it for this video. If you enjoyed it, I'm not sure if you did or not, but I got there eventually. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe for more Trying to Fix videos. Take care, bye now.